Well, good morning, Joe.
James, how are you? All right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think there's only one fair place to start for a fair question. How much of a gamble is this?
I didn't expect that. I don't know. I suppose we can contact some good bookmakers, and they'll probably give us the price on what it was for me coming out of a betting ban and into a managerial position. But it's one of the weird idiosyncrasies that tends to go on the roller coaster journey that has been certainly my life and professional life in a football space. But something I've always wanted to do, and thankful for the opportunity. Fantastic football club, obviously on an upward curve, upward trajectory, and a great place for me to start a coaching journey.
It's been a kind of press conference a month in the making, hasn't it? In your own thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that you've got to get used to as a modern day player. The media is a huge part of the industry that we're in now. And I think it's certainly benefited the game. It gives everybody within the game fantastic opportunities. You walk around even in a year out of football, being the other side of, poacher kind of turned gamekeeper, being your side of the fence, waiting for TalkSport this year. I've got a deeper understanding of how everything's interconnected, and sometimes I think as a player or as a coach or maybe even as an owner, you can feel you're getting a lot of pressure, and you can feel that maybe the media is a little bit unfair at times. And then working the other side of it, you realise that there is a job to do and that it's a two-way street. And I think as long as there's mutual respect on both sides, it's for the benefit of the game. I mean, as we've seen this week with the England squad and what's gone on there, I think if England are serious about being successful, I think the media and the national team have to be aligned. So hopefully they do get that in the summer. And for us, certainly for us as a football club, I think Andy's always been very open with the media. He's always been explaining the journey of the football club, and I get that. Some people will have questioned this appointment because I'm somebody who's coming out of a 13-month ban from the FA, and it's down to me to show the faith that this football club, and certainly Andy as an owner, has shown in me by giving me the opportunity. I intend to pay that back 100-fold over the next 3 years.
You use the word player. Is the playing stopped? Are you going to be registered yourself to play as a player manager?
I think I have to, if I'm serious about being the best possible version of myself in a coaching space. I think I have to put Joey Barton, the player, to bed. So the takeout for you is probably the death of Joey Barton as a player. Some people will argue that that's a very good thing. But yeah, that obviously opens up Joey Barton, the coach. So, you close one chapter of your career, and I love playing. It's something I dreamt about doing from as long as I was consciously aware. And I was fortunate enough to achieve, everything I dreamt of doing, playing for England and playing in the Premier League for some phenomenal football clubs. But certainly since the age of about 28, 29, I've always wanted to coach. I've always thought I'd really love to coach and to stay in the game and give something back to the game after I wasn't able to play. The way that happened, I probably would have liked to have gone out under my own steam as opposed to getting an FA ban to put the final nail in the coffin. But the world works in mysterious ways, and I've got a fantastic opportunity at a really exciting period in this football club's history, and really, really looking forward to everything that brings.
So does Joey Barton, the manager, the coach, stay on social media?
I think he definitely has to alter the way he has used social media in the past. And I don't like talking about myself in the third person.
You started it.
Yeah, I'm starting to sound a little bit like Zlatan here, which is I should never really do. So yeah, I mean, it's like anything. You go through life and you kind of, things that work for you in some regards don't necessarily work for you a bit further down the line. And the way I use social media initially, being probably one of the first modern day players through the wall, it wasn't the way I would use it today, knowing what we know, knowing the way that landscape's changed. But at the time it was a new technology, and you have to use it the way you see best, and it wasn't always used for the right reasons and the right purposes. But on the whole, I think if I look at the Joey Barton journey on Twitter, again, third person thing's freaking me out a little bit. if we look at that journey, I think it was, you know, you look at what it was used for in terms of the Hillsborough campaign, the e-petition around that. So I'm incredibly proud of certain things it's been used for. There is obviously other things that I probably could have stayed away from on social media, but you know, that's life, and you try and use that skill going forward. I don't think I'll be a massive communicator over the coaching journey and the coaching period, because you've got to use all your energies, you know, in the right way and on the football pitch and on the training ground, and certainly with the players. And I don't think, you know, to use it the way you did as a player would be the right way to conduct myself going forward. You
know the way the media works, you know that the rap sheet gets brought out time and time again. Joey did this.
Rap sheet?
Joey did this, Joey did that, the CV.
Yeah.
There's an argument that when pressure's brought to bear, sometimes the response isn't right. Have you sorted that? Because there'll be pressure with this.
Oh, there's pressure with everything. Certainly, you know, for all of us in everyday life, there's pressure. So you can look at the other side, which I tend to do, that, you know, when you've been through what I've been through, you know, losing football games is not necessarily the end of the universe. I mean, it might be from Andy's point of view, but you know, for me, there is a bigger picture. Yeah, we all want to be successful in football, but there's more to life in certain regards. And you know, somebody who's experienced that roller coaster, I think even with the players, I'll be, you know, trying to help ease the pressure that can be in and around modern day football. And you know, we're lucky in terms of, you know, the stuff that comes with being a public image, a public profile, stuff that you don't really have a skill set leaving school. You know, I never ever thought I was going to leave school and become followed by X million on Twitter, and literally every time you put a song lyric or a throwaway quote, it's analysed and over-analysed, and you know, you have that kind of intrusion in your life. And obviously being part of a football industry which has grown, as we spoke about earlier, in a visibility space. You know, you can say something on Twitter and it makes news in Indonesia. You know, that's the reality of it now. But to leave school without the skill set of dealing with that, and kind of grow up in a public arena, which I had to do. You know, I didn't have all the skills to deal with being famous, if that's what we are, or infamous. So I didn't have the skills leaving school to be able to cope with what modern day football threw at me. But you know, as a 35-year-old ex-professional footballer, I certainly feel I've got a lot more skills than I had before, and obviously that comes with just naturally maturing and becoming a man. You know, I'm not perfect, far from it, but I think I'm a lot better version than probably what I was when I started out my playing journey. And I think if you just keep that progress in mind and you keep moving in the right direction, I think life tends to reward you for that.